Margaret. On behalf of JPMorgan Chase, we're thrilled to be here and very much thank our partners at The Atlantic for putting on such a great event. And I'd also like to start by extending a special thanks to Mayors Ross and Mayor Adler for their leadership and what they're doing to advance sustainability initiatives in their cities. So I'm so excited to be here in Austin as well, and not just because it's impossible to get a good breakfast taco in Manhattan. So I was actually just in Bonn for COP23, and we were thrilled to be asked to speak in the We're Still in tent that cities, states, and local governments, as well as some corporations sponsored, so that the US did have a presence at this COP. And the energy in the room was just huge, and to be back in a place where there's such a dedication to green energy is just absolutely inspiring. So thanks very much for having us. So I've got a few minutes today, and I'd like to talk to you a bit about what JPMorgan is doing to advance sustainability initiatives. But before I do that, I think it's helpful to set the stage of why we're making two big new commitments. The first, to power ourselves with 100% renewable energy by 2020, and the second, to facilitate $200 billion of clean financing by 2025. We announced these in July, but I think the backdrop for what went on behind that is actually pretty interesting. I don't need to tell an audience of Texans that we're in a bit of a change in the state of play in the energy market. We're really changing the way that energy is produced and consumed, and as it's been done over the past 100 years. You need to look no further than the skyline, right? What was once just oil rigs and oil pumps is now a skyline that's punctuated with windmills. And that's really exciting to see. However, we're not going to transition to 100% renewable energy overnight. And we know that in order to help facilitate this transition to a lower carbon economy, it's going to take investment in clean technology, and with that comes financing obligations. So cue the bank. And so from that standpoint, we decided to really address some of these challenges head on and challenge ourselves to tackle these challenges and really up our own commitments to the sustainable investing space. And JPMorgan Chase has a long commitment of advancing private sector solutions to benefit the public good. But what we decided was what we've been doing over the last 10 years, incorporating environmental and social risk management practices into our business, and also working with clients on their own sustainability initiatives was great, but it wasn't sufficient. And so I'll talk a bit about these two commitments that we made back in July. So turning first to this 100% renewable energy commitment by 2020, we took a look at our real estate footprint, and spoiler alert, JPMorgan is a really big company. So we have operations in over 60 countries, covering 75 million square feet of real estate. And that's tough for me to get my head around. So imagine the 103 floors of the Empire State Building in all its glory. Now take 27 of those. And so we're squeezing 235,000 people into this space. So we're consuming a lot of energy. So we decided, all right, what can we do to reduce our energy consumption, but also green it? And actually, you can see some of what we're integrating in Texas itself. We're installing across the country 1.4 million LED light bulbs. A large proportion of those are going into this state. And if you're wondering how many JPMorgan employees it takes to install 1.4 million light bulbs, the answer is 600. Thankfully, I am not one of them. So we're incorporating these energy use reductions across our over 500 branches in the state. But we're also greening the buildings that we're putting in place. We actually just put in place and put into commercial operation a 1.2 million square feet of space in Plano, Texas. It's going to house 6,000 employees. And we're also putting 7 megawatts of solar panels on site. So as we're moving forward as a company, we're trying to do so in a sustainable way. And then the final strategy that we're using that we're also employing in Texas is to contract for long-term renewable energy supply, like Mayor Ross was talking about a bit earlier. So last year, about this time, we actually executed a contract with NRG for the Buckthorn Wind Project, which is about 3 hours from here. And JPMorgan is purchasing 100% of the power that will be produced, one that goes into commercial operation next week, knock on wood. And what was innovative about this transaction, I think, indicative of what a bank can do in this space, our real estate team is buying 50% of the output. We only have the demand, like we're only consuming enough energy to buy 50% of it. But energy was like, I mean, thanks guys, 50% is great, but it's not 100%. So we worked with our commodities team, who actually is in the business of managing commodity risks, right? I mean, they're buying and selling energy on behalf of clients all day long. So they raised their hand and they were like, oh, well, we can take it and we can sell it to our clients on the back end, who are also looking to green their own renewable energy portfolio. And I think that's a really good example of how a bank can take its size and its scale, marry that together with its skill sets and the products that it offers, and leverage the resources and skill sets of its employees to bring new renewable energy into the market where we're doing business. So we're really excited about the 100% renewable commitment. I do not envy our real estate team, who is running a million miles an hour trying to get this done, but we figured, if you're gonna, go big or go home, right? So there's the second commitment that we made was to facilitate $200 billion, that's a B, not an M, of clean financing by 2025. And this really encompasses what JPMorgan is kind of known for, right? We're in the advisory space. We underwrite bonds. We provide risk management services. We lend money. We invest directly in renewable projects. And that's something that's really core to the business that we do. And so leveraging the skill sets that our employees bring there seems like a logical thing to do. Because it's great if JPMorgan does something on its own, but if we can facilitate the activities of our 22,000 corporate and investor clients, well, that makes it all the better and much more impactful. So I'd like to talk about one transaction that I think encompasses how when we step up to the plate to provide capital, it can actually incent incremental activity. So we're all familiar with Apple. We're probably all carrying a couple of their products, maybe multiple products. So they actually issued a $1 billion green bond that was underwritten by JPMorgan and some other banks back in June. And you may wonder, what is a green bond? It's a normal bond, and the company who issues the bond says, I pledge that I'm going to use the money that's raised from this for green purposes. So they're able to announce to the market that, hey, green is important to me. This is important to my corporate strategy. But it also enables an investor who thinks that being green is important to express that investment thesis through a product. So by facilitating that transaction, JPMorgan is being innovative in that we're able to create more financial green products that will hopefully spur more investment in renewable energy. But it also enables Apple to spend money developing their new headquarters that's powered by 100% renewable energy. And it also facilitates new products for investors. So we give all credit to our clients for all the steps that they are taking to green their own portfolios. And we'll tip our hat to ourselves for helping to facilitate that market. And I'd say our commitment to that market didn't begin or end with that particular transaction. We've actually been involved in green bonds for years and actually helped write the green bond principles, which helps to standardize green bond issuance in the hopes that more will get done. And ultimately, companies who are financing green projects will be rewarded through pricing benefits as a result. So we're really excited about all the activity that's going on in this space, and we're so thankful to have the chance to talk about what we're doing. I think events like this are great in that we're really able to learn from one another and learn from folks who are employing best practices and seeing the leadership of our cities, states, local governments on this. But finally, I just want to emphasize, I think, what was discussed on the panel before. This is all great for the environment, but it's also good business. And that's the way that we can create this sustainability. It will make the solutions that we're developing that much more impactful and scalable. And that's how we can truly create change in the communities where we live and work. So thank you so much for the time. Thank you for coming. Look forward to speaking with you all after.